Yeah, this is Paul. Just going through the sheriff's return of service on 628. Both of these instances, I don't remember being given 5 judicial days. The order for protection, the motion hearing with Commissioner Knieves. It's one of these things that when you have a motion before the court to renew a protection order after being arrested on the 27th, and there's not a verdict from the jury if I was guilty or not guilty, makes it difficult as a respondent. So really what they planned on doing was, since I was arrested, though there was no jurisdiction, and it was 20 days after I contacted Healthy Family, and it was 3 days after filing for dissolution of marriage, they thought that they would just make me out to be a criminal. So I didn't go, because if it had been guilty, let's just say the jury went the other direction, because this was the risk that I was faced with during that time. Then I would have had to explain to the court why it was that I was attempting to contact her, and it was because I wanted to see if she got the information from the Attorney General in Guam. When it was not guilty, I was not going to motion a court that for a second time had definitely violated my rights as a respondent. They hadn't given me the number of days necessary to respond. They reissued a protection order for a year. It always had this mental health evaluation, and it seemed like there was no doubt in my mind. There was no doubt that I was being set up and framed as being a criminal when I wasn't. Now you can understand that when I'm stuck on Guam, and you issue a protection order where I can't respond as a respondent, and then I find out years later, though I did do a small amount of research then, that I go through a jury trial, I'm found not guilty. Well, why didn't you remove it? Well, you have to motion the court. Well, I'm so sorry. No, I don't. When you issue a protection order without finding out whether or not the respondent was guilty or not guilty of violating the protection order, the justification for renewing it for a year was wrong. Now, it's obvious they should have removed it, but it seems like that the judges in Clallam County can just not ever admit that they're a bunch of screw-ups. Now, after that was issued, sheriff's return to service approximately 6 days later, I was in the same location. It often makes me, I know they're busy. I know sheriffs are really busy. But when you take 9 days to serve a guy, instead of making sure that I get the 5 judicial days inclusive of weekends, that would be 7 whole days. It seemed to me that someone has continuously obstructed my rights as a father and violated my rights as an American citizen. Now, somewhere after declaration of Pastor Greg Miller on the second petition to modify the protection order, motion hearing, again, Brent Basin shows up, order reissuing, motion hearing. I think they reissued it for another year. Now, I went to the Baptist church. In fact, I went to a couple of different Baptist churches, and I prayed that there would be a reconciliation, and that we wouldn't get divorced, that we would stay together as a family. But for some reason, those that have been making shows got paid. They got paid to violate the laws of the United States. Now, I'm sure Greg Miller probably got paid. Petition motion for the order, motion terms of protection order on 10-2. Motion hearing, commission order reissuing temporary protection order, motion hearing, sheriff's return, motion hearing, commissioner motion hearing, sheriff's return, sheriff's notice. It looks like they might have reissued that for another year. So they issued it without serving me as a respondent in approximately 8 or 9 times in 2011, 2012. My constitutional right to due process had been violated, folks. And then they issued it right after I got out of jail.